Hello, everyone, and welcome to Horse Racing Today with Andy McVay. I'm your host, Andy McVay, and it's our pleasure to bring you our podcast for the 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby. And we thank you for watching. We know you have choices all across the YouTube, but thanks for spending a few minutes with us. With me this afternoon is Travis Perry. Travis, you're back after a number of years of doing this, and we're glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Excited to be here again.
Travis is very interested in the pedigrees because he's in the animal breeding business. He produces championship show swine, and he really enjoys pedigrees, so we'll look for his insight on that. Also with us today is Mark Ambrosi. Mark is a Indiana sports writer and sportscaster Hall of Fame member. So we'll enjoy his insights on all of this. So with that, we just think about this absolutely fascinating field we have. And we all have a few things to say to get it started that are kind of some storylines that we want to just focus on before we start talking about our top six. So Mark, what interests you about this year's Derby?
What's really unusual about this one is for all the years of the Derby, there were only 3 horses, I think, in the first 151 years that didn't run as 2-year-olds. We have 4 in this race. But giving some recent precedent, we've had Justify in 2018 and then Maj in 2018 win the Derby as not racing as 2-year-olds. So that experience factor, maybe it's been overrated through the years, who knows? Or maybe they were just not running on tired legs. I don't know. I'll decline to go with the experts on that one. But in this one, we have 4 horses: Chief Wallaby, the Puma, Emerging Market, and Potente, all running as first-time runners as 3-year-olds. So a couple of them are real interesting in how they may go, and Chief Wallaby's trained by Bill Mott, and his son is also training. It's the first time since 1964 that we've had a father-son trainer in the Derby, and the Motts have been having some fun with that, saying that this son won't be allowed back in the house basically if he wins. So, but that's probably not going to happen.
Thanks, Mark. Travis, what insights do you have for us?
Well, what I really like is the breeding and the pedigrees of these horses, and the Into Mischief line has had such an incredible run here. We had 3 Derby winners out of him with the 20 horse of Authentic, and then in 21 we have Mandaloon, and then last year Sovereignty, all sired by him. So we've got that influence of 3 in the race that are out of him. Then we've got a grandson of his, sired by Maximum Mischief, so a son that's coming in here that's sired by that also. And I think that's a neat line to have that. He's the leading sire 7 years in a row. $250,000 to breed to him. The return of those animals is exceptional there too. So, I mean, he's tied for the lead with 3 Derby wins. The most recent being Bull Lee. And then you had Sir Galahad, Falsetto, and Virgil. So that's going back a long time. Because when was Bull Lee?
I think 45 was his last Derby winner.
Wow.
Sometime in the 40s.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Long time. Mm-hmm. Long time on that. So I'm excited to see that with this year with these horses that are running, and we've got some that definitely have a chance. The 2 of the favorites are out of him. So I think that'll be interesting to see if he can pull it off again with this. So that part's exciting to me.
Good stuff. So I would offer a couple things. First of all, we've got 4 really, really good horses, maybe 5, that we're going to cover in our top 6 in a few minutes. But everybody that I talk to or hear from or see on social media is trying to find that horse that did not win their last prep. And guess what? The last 4 years, the horse that won the Kentucky Derby did not win their previous prep. Sovereignty last year was 2nd in the Florida Derby. Before that, Mystic Dan, I think he might have been 3rd or 4th in the Arkansas Derby. Prior to that, we had Rich Strike, who was came in as an also eligible on Saturday morning and shocked the world. And then prior to that was Mage. You might have that a little out of order, but none of those horses won their prep before. So that's very interesting. So people are digging up who was second in this race or that race. They're going to be ready. And
Is that what you call the wise guy horse?
that, a
what
lot
you're
of that
talking
is.
about,
A lot of those
guy
are wise
horse?
guy horses, and
Yeah,
you
that
may
they're
have
trying to find out who that horse
who
is.
that one is. Yeah. Additionally, and it's maybe a downer to talk about, but in horse racing today, we're having a lot of scratches on the day of the race, according to the vets coming in. And, you know, the vets are doing their job. Their job is to keep the races safe so that all the horses come home sound. And they do a great job of examining the horses, and they kind of can offer us some surprises as late as Saturday morning of a horse that's not running because the vets have decided that. So check your scratches. They'll be posted 9 o'clock on Saturday, and then sometimes we have scratches at the gate. So anything can happen. Again, it's our hope that all the horses we're talking about get to run, and we don't have any more scratches because we've had 2 or 3 already for the Derby. So with that, we'll get into our top 6. Mark, can you lead us off and tell us about your 6th horse, your 6th pick?
My 6th pick is just sort of a fun one. These are for amusement purposes only. I'm not the experts like these two. But Great White's interesting to me because I always look for a gray horse because my late wife loved them and always had a good some luck with them. So I always bet a gray horse. And this one's a big one, 17.3 hands, which I had to look up is like 5'11". I heard one analyst compare it to Shaquille O'Neal playing with a bunch of point guards is how it's going to be.
Wow,
so this is a big, Great White horse. And so I think it'd just be a good value for a long shot if you're looking for somebody to come in, especially if it goes off at 50 to 1. You know, what do you got to lose to throw a few bucks on it? Don't blame me, though.
That is a big horse, 1,300 pounds.
That is a big guy.
He can take some punishment if they get down in there and some's coming in on him.
And there could be a rich strike again. Who knows? And what's interesting, he at one point raced at Turfway Park as well. So, and that's where Rich Strike came from. So, Travis, who's your number 6?
My number 6 is Potente. That's the most expensive horse in the field.
How much?
$2.4 million
Okay.
as a yearling. So some of these are bought as yearlings. Some of them are home raised. Some of them are yearlings. And then the 2-year-old races or 2-year-old sales also. They just had one that sold for what, 10 million? I mean, that's craziness on that. But this is the one that hits the gate that is 2.4 million as a yearling. Bob Baffert trained. Juan Hernandez running on that one. Goes second in the Santa Anita. It's an Into Mischief. This is an Into Mischief. My thing on this horse, I think this is going to be the horse that can be on the lead going into that mile. After we get through this quarter mile of the start, coming into that first turn area, we're going to get into where this horse can kind of do some things there. He's going to be towards the lead. This is a forward-placed animal that recent history has been late closers that have come in and done something on this. The last since 21 or 22 on have been more late closers that have come in and won. But before that, all the way back to 15 with Pharaoh, those were forward-placed horses that always came from the beginning. They're part of it. So you don't have near as many horses to pass. I mean, Baffert runs Authentic, and what did Authentic do? He railed.
Gate to wire.
He went gate to wire, won the whole thing that way. So I don't think this hog. Did
you say hog?
I did. I said hog is a hog breeder. I don't believe that this horse.
I don't want to bet on that pig.
No.
I like that. I think that this horse will be forwardly placed. I think that the stablemate will go faster and be in there to run quicker to begin with. I think
Litmus
he's going to
test.
be
The other
litmus test will
Baffert,
be
yes.
the rabbit.
Okay.
I think for this, but we're going to put him in there, and I see him coming in. Being a forward-placed horse that can come in, and if one's going to come from the front, you got a lot less horses to pass. So there's some good things with that, and the bumping and getting your position, and coming from a 14-hole draw. That's a perfect spot.
I think so.
So to come in.
Well, I might be one of those guys that's trying to find the second place horse that might do real well. And so my number 6 is horse number 16, Pavlovian. Why do I like Pavlovian? It's kind of a different deal that doesn't have a lot to do with the horse himself, but the people involved. First of all, Pavlovian is the only horse in the race that's California bred. The other 19, Kentucky bred. Pavlovian is owned by Paul Redham Racing. They owned I'll Have Another in 12 and Nyquist, I believe, in 15, 14 or 15, both that won. And both those horses were trained by Doug O'Neill. So I'm kind of going with that option. Okay, odd as it sounds, Pavlovin was in fact second in his last race. In the previous race, he was first. And that previous race, 2 back, he had a new jockey on named Edwin Maldonado. And that worked well. And he was second in the Louisiana Derby to Emerging Market, that we may hear more from. The Pavlovian is the most experienced horse in the race. He's ran 11 or 12 races already, which is really odd. As Mark pointed out, these horses are really shortly raced. They don't have a lot of starts. And so why do I like him? I just think there's a chance. I think there's a chance, and I'm not afraid to take him. He'll probably be 25, 30 to 1. So I'll throw some action on him somewhere and see what happens. So Pavlovian, number 16 is my 6th choice. So, Mark, who's your 5th choice?
My 5th choice is the 14 Portante, and it's hard to figure that Baffert won't have somebody that has a shot to think what he has. 7 winners, or he has 7 winners and 1 they took away from him, right? So he's always competitive there when he's allowed to be there. But he's really obviously a great trainer still at his age, and I think you're right. Litmus test will be the rabbit, the speed horse, but I think this he has a chance to get in the money.
Number 5 for you, Travis.
My number 5 is the lightly raced horse, Emerging Market.
You're going to talk about him.
I am.
Okay.
It's Chad Brown trained. Chad is very high on this horse. Chad had what would have been one of the favorites in there before this one went out. But I think that when he lost that horse, who did he lose here, Andy, on that? He lost Paddlin.
Paddlin, yeah.
Yeah, which would have been one of the favorites.
He was a gun runner and a good horse.
He and Ted Noffey
Yeah,
would
both
have
gun
been the
runners
two
would have been great.
that we've
Yeah.
lost, both of those two. Only 2 races. Wasn't really his fault. I mean, it wasn't that he was late really coming to it. He got hurt. He was getting ready to run on the 4th of July, and he got hurt. Got a cut on his shoulder, so he set out. Then they were going to run him in October, get him going then. He got pneumonia. So they've had to sit and wait. February 6th is his first race. He's ran 2 races. He's 2 for 2. So just honestly, very, very talented horse. I think this one will come. He's more of a mid-pack type horse, not a late closer on there, so going to be more mid-packed on there. It'll be interesting coming through this, being a mid-pack horse, but 19 other horses to worry about. That's my biggest concern with the lightly raced horses. This is like a kindergarten class and saying, first one of the ice cream truck wins. I mean, there's going to be a lot of bumping going. It's how these horses handle it, and that's going to be my concern on one of those. I think he's going to have some speed to get there. Very good horse there to do that, but it'll be interesting to see how a lightly raced horse does it. Like you said, there's how many this time that were first time runners? 4 coming out as their first time running.
First time running
as 3-year-olds.
They didn't run as
2-year-olds.
2-year-olds.
So that makes it a difficult situation, but he's not the only one. So he's the only one that has 2 races. So
yes.
What's your choice?
First of all, real quick, tell us about the pedigree on your horse.
Well,
Emerging Market.
Emerging Market that's a candy ride.
Right.
So that is an older pedigree on there. Same sire as Gun Runner. So, and Gun Runner's extremely popular right now.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Bringing in, an older pedigree. That's a 1999 born horse,
right.
Candy Ride.
Right.
So to me, that's a very interesting deal. I love the pedigree.
And the sire of the dam is...
That's an Empire Maker.
Which he won the Belmont?
Yeah. So that gives you some of that there that, going to have some speed late too. So I think that I think some good things can come from that. But to me, what fascinates me is a 1999 horse versus some of these newer first crop horses and all of those. I mean, to me, that's an interesting part. That we still have genetics that are good from back then.
Yeah.
That are relevant, and I feel like this horse can win.
You bet.
Chad's been very, very high on this horse. Some have said that honestly he thought this was his horse before.
Well, Flavin Pratt's riding him, and he turned down commandment to ride him.
He did. He
We'll
got
talk
off
about
of,
him.
He got off
We
of
will.
commandment to run
Yeah,
this one,
yeah.
and he is Mr. Derby, 6 of 8.
Yeah, that's what-
in the top 3.
Yeah, Flavin
So,
Pratt. Yeah.
Yes, with Flavin.
So my fifth choice. Before we get to my fifth choice, speaking of pedigrees, going back to 1973, 19 of the 20 Derby horses that were entered before scratches went back to Secretariat.
Wow.
That's incredible. My fifth choice is Patanti also. I agree with what you fellows have said. I think to me, he reminds me a lot of Authentic. I believe that Patanti was second in the Santa Anita Derby, as I believe Authentic was too. And then Authentic just shot out and went and won it. John Velasquez was on Authentic. We've got a new rider for the first time on Patanti, and it's
Juan Hernandez.
Juan Hernandez, yeah. So that could be a factor in how he performs. But I like him. He is my long shot pick.
What do you think his odds? I mean, my only concern on odds on him is that he's a Baffert.
I know, but I
So
don't.
it's gonna take-
You know what? Yeah, I'm thinking
take the
15 to 17 to 1 to the worst, but it could be 20 to 25 to 1. So
Yeah, that'd be good at that.
that'd be good.
I
you
think
know, yeah.
Baffert pushes it down.
He certainly
they,
does.
They
So
bring
does-
dollars in.
So does Fletcher and Irod
Oh,
Ortiz.
yes.
So.
Yep.
Okay, we're to number 4. Mark, who do you got?
I have Further Ado, and I guess we're going to see if it's much ado about nothing since he's only won at Keeneland. But I just sort of like it as Velasquez on him, and I like his breeding, and I just figure it's a horse that's run well of late. So I guess we'll see. But I think I like his betting odds if he's somewhere around 8 to 1, maybe.
Could be.
Right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good choice.
Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Renegade.
All right.
He's the morning line favorite. I mean, established as a favorite, has won. I mean, he looked incredible in the Arkansas Derby. Just blew him out of the water there. So he looked incredible at that. Trained by this is the number 1 horse. So he's coming out. He's a Pletcher there. So Pletcher has done a phenomenal job with that, and we got Irod running. So the best jockey for the 1 position. I mean, the reason I have him, is my fourth choice coming out of the 1 hole. I mean, that's a lot to ask. But I think with Irod, that's probably the best option. He's going to get him through there and moved out. I mean, because he wants to come from the outside. I mean, that's the biggest problem I see is he likes to come from the outside. My concern on him was in the Remsen. When they came up on him on the outside, he didn't like that. He got past.
He did. Didn't he?
I think he likes to be on the outside with something on his inside to his left so that he can just go on by. But when one comes up to his right side, he doesn't seem to like that. So, well, it'll be interesting if he can get him out there. That's my thoughts on that one. Getting him the ride coming through there is going to be a tough situation for him to do. So, but he looked very, very good running that. So.
Arkansas Derby.
Yes.
You
Oh,
bet.
yeah.
Unbelievable
Yes.
run. Yes. Well, my number 4 is Renegade also. So we're going to have some things about the same here because I don't know if we think alike, Travis, or what, but turns
That's
out
scary.
that is real scary, right? Exactly. But I like Renegade number 4 too. And you know what? He opened as the morning line favorite. Okay, that's good. His Arkansas Derby was incredible. They do all kinds of figures associated with the Kentucky Derby, and one of the most significant figures they look at is what was their time in the last 1/8 of a mile. They can get that finite. And his was 11.84 seconds, which was light years faster than anybody else in the field. Okay? And he came from last to first, and as we say, had a slingshot ride coming out of the top of the stretch. Irod Ortiz took him to the outside, and off he went. In doing that, he kind of rode a little to the right. I'm not sure everybody's talking about that or noticed that. So that combined with that incredible 11.84 number, I kind of think that Renegade ran his Kentucky Derby at the Arkansas Derby. And now you put him in the 1 gate, I'm putting him 4th. I'll use him in some tickets naturally on multiple race wagers, and he too is an incredible pedigree. He's into mischief out of a Curlin, out of a Bernardini. Herlin has sired 2 second-place winners and been the grandsire of 2 other second-place winners. Bernardini's the next sire back, and he was the dam sire of Sovereignty last year, and Magnitude that just won the Dubai Classic. So he's regally bred, and I think he'll make a tremendous sire.
You think he's the best sire prospect?
Probably of the
coming out of
Intermischiefs for sure. There's
Yeah.
so many great Intermischiefs out there.
Because he's coming with more length there with the Curlin coming on the back.
Yeah, I
side
think
of that
so.
too,
I do, like you say.
Yeah.
So
And
I like him
he's
for
going
it.
to see a lot of TV coverage because who's an owner?
Mike Rapoli, yeah, Mr.
He
Listen,
loves a camera
he does.
there for that.
Right.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
going to demand that. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to get some attention because of that. So.
Exactly. Number 3, Mark, who do you like, buddy?
I like Emerging Market, and it's another one of those horses that didn't run as a 2-year-old, and it's got Pratt on it, who's cashed in 6 out of 8 derbies. Nobody's been more consistent
Right.
in recent years, and I like the name.
That's good.
No, I like the odds. If it's, I don't think it'll go off at 15-1. I think it might be a little lower, but I kind of like that as a mid-range thing to put it in some exactas or put it in a wheel. But I like it could finish in the money.
So now we're ready for horse number 3, right?
Horse number 3, the Puma.
Okay, you've got the Puma
I
third.
do have the Puma third for me. That's Delgado as the trainer. Javier Castellano is the jockey on there. Goes second in the Florida Derby. If you watch that race, I had my wife watch it the other day. Said, "Who won this race?" And it wasn't Commandment to either one of us in terms of visually seeing
I
it.
didn't think so
we
either.
didn't. I mean, it looked like he had it still, but that nose bob is why Commandment won that. I thought he ran a really good race there to do that. So, sired by Essential Quality on a Tappet dam. I think
Incredible.
that is a very, very good. Essential Quality is a Tappet sire.
Yeah.
That's what it is on that. So I really like that. He's going to be mid pack. I mean, he's the. Where is he running from? What post is
Number
he?
9.
He's the 9. Okay,
Mhm.
coming out of the 9 hole there. Speed figures have been on the move up. I mean, he's been progressing up there. I think he got 100 for his Florida. Went from an 83 to a 94 to 100. So speed figures are moving up. Nothing too incredibly fast there yet, but it was very close in that Florida Derby between the 3 horses actually there that we had on it. So I thought it was a very good race. We'll see who pulls it out now going forward.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my 3 is Further Ado. And, I love Gun Runners. I like his pedigree a lot. Bottom side is okay. It's not maybe as good as some others, but the Gun Runners, I really, really hope that someday we'd have a Gun Runner Derby winner, if not more. I loved him when he ran 3rd in the Derby and then had a tremendous 4-year-old career. So here's the son of Gun Runner, Further Ado. And he ran an incredible race in the Bluegrass Stakes. He got 106 buyer speed number, which is 6 points higher than anybody else in the race, and that is significant, okay? But I'm a little concerned that maybe he ran his Kentucky Derby in the Bluegrass Stakes. I'm afraid that he might have just done that there. At the same time, he broke his maiden in, I think, October, November at Keeneland and won by 20 lengths. He turned around and won at Churchill in the Jockey Club Gold Cup Thanksgiving weekend, I believe, by 4 lengths. So he's won over the course at Churchill. But we haven't had a Derby winner from the Bluegrass Stakes in a long time, since Strike the Gold, and I believe that was 91. Now they had some surface changes in there when they went synthetic, but at the same time, it's time for a Derby winner from the Bluegrass. And I think that dates back farther than even the Wood, okay? So I've got him 3rd. I'm going to bet him across, which sounds awkward because he might be 9-2. And if you can get 9-2 and win the Derby, that's great. He is probably the most likely winner. Being at post 18, he can sit off a little bit and then come once and I think be pretty good shape. But I got him 3rd because I think others will pass him in the stretch in a phenomenal finish. Let's go to horse number 2. Mark, who do you have?
Well, I kind of struggle with this one because originally I was thinking Renegade, then I'm thinking 40 years since somebody's won from the pose, but that could change the way they've moved the gates. But I kind of settled on Commandment. I like his coming from Into Mischief and a Cox trained horse, and I just sort of like where he's sitting. He's favorite, hasn't won in 7 years, so he might be the off favorite or 2 or 3, and just sort of like. I'm just kind of a feel. I wait till 5 minutes before the race and bet the odds a lot of times. So I'll probably change these 6, except I'll throw something on Great White.
There you go. Number 2, Travis?
I also have Commandment.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I
All
love
right.
that part there, the dam side. Orb won
In 12.
in 12,
Mhm.
13.
You're right.
13.
Yeah, it was
He won in 13. I think he's adaptable to any pace, really. I mean, he's been a closer. He's been mid-pack. I mean, honestly, I see him as being one that can come through things. Cox says this is a big horse. I mean, he's a stout one. This isn't a slight horse, so he can take a banging. When these 3-year-olds, when the kindergartners all come together, they're going to hit. And this one can take some of that, and I think keep going and not be shying away from that. So in that, I think that helps quite a bit there. The concern, the jockey changes. I mean, has he had 2 of them come off of him? Or has he lost Irod? Irod came off of him too, didn't he? Or
I'm not sure. I think I read run him in the Fountain of Youth.
Yes.
And the
He's
Florida
had
Derby.
2 of them come off of him.
Yeah.
And which is a little odd.
Right.
So,
But you know what? Louis Saez
Yes.
was the guy that got thrown out in 19.
Yeah.
And so I think he's going to be hungry.
I don't think it hurts him at all. I mean, he's coming from the 6 there, so I don't think it hurts him. And you know, he won the Derby, or won the Florida Derby there, you know, by that head bob. So, but he's come off of different paces, and I think he's what 4-4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, he's running right. So
Yeah, he's ready.
I've got him as my second choice.
Okay. My second choice is the Puma. I like the Florida Derby. I think that it was very productive with, it has been over the years. The most Derby winners have been from the Florida Derby, and I think this year is the case again, a hint to my number 1. But the Puma is by Essential Quality. Essential Quality was the 3-year-old champion that also won the juvenile. He was 4th in the Derby, and he won the Belmont. An incredible son of Tappet, and this is his first crop. So I look for good things of him as a sire. I loved Essential Quality the year he won. Of course, he was 4th. But so I think that's good. The other thing about Puma is he's trained by Delgado, who trained Mage. All right? And the pattern is the same. Did not race as a 3-year-old, broke him in Florida, and he was 2nd in the Florida Derby, and then Mage won.
And
the
he's
Kentucky
raced all the
Derby.
favorites.
He
I mean,
has.
He's
He's
been
been
against
right
all
there.
of them.
Yeah.
In all of these races, he's really the only one that's faced
Right.
them all.
And his speed figures are as good as anybody's, really, except maybe Further Ado. So I like him. Javier Castellano's aboard on the Puma. I think that's good. I think he's got a shot, and I don't think he'll be a wild number. I think your favorites, to me, are at race time are probably going to be Further Ado and Renegade, and don't be surprised if Chief Walby doesn't take a lot of money. So number 1 horses. Go ahead.
My number 1 is Chief Wild.
It is. All right. How about that?
And I just like the fact that he just narrowly got beat in 2 of those prep races, right? And Bill Mott's been around for years, great trainer. Has he won before? Has he won?
Like last year, maybe, huh?
Well, that would do.
And with Junior Alvarado, how about that? Yeah.
So the same combination.
Yeah.
I thought he had one. I couldn't remember if it was the
Oh,
same.
come on. Oh,
But,
come on. Yeah.
eh,
I think he
I'll
must
make
have
it up
bet
as I
sovereign.
go.
I think he
so.
bet sovereign.
Yeah.
I could throw out some times, but it's too much
Yeah.
math.
Right.
He did
Yeah.
like 1.8.
Yeah.
But no, he's another one of those, the last of the horses that didn't run as a 2-year-old. So I think he'll be fresh enough with being narrowly nipped those 2 times and just good breeding stock. And I like him, especially if he's going off at like 8-1 maybe, or 10-1, somewhere
He
in the
might-
3rd favorite.
he could
Maybe
be
be
that.
higher.
Yeah.
I mean lower.
Yeah.
All right, Travis, who's your number 1?
Oh, my number 1 is Further Ado.
Okay.
I really do
with
like
no
this.
more Further Ado.
With no more further ado. A gun runner, Brad Cox, John Velasquez. Johnny V's won before. So he knows, this will be number 4 for Johnny
Just
V's. So
4.
yeah. So, and owner, Spendthrift. Spendthrift bought this one. They didn't raise this one. With Sovereignty, they'd raised that one. With this one, they bought in on him, so they own him. So same ownership group there with owning that as last year. He's a 1 of 6. I mean, he looked absolutely incredible winning that race there. I think that he's trained exceptionally well there moving forward. I mean, people are concerned on the bounce, as they say the bounce, because he's had he went up in number, went from a 92 to a 106. 82, 92, 106.
Incredible progression.
In that. So with his buyer's numbers. So there's a lot of people scared by that. He has been training and looking incredible. By the people down there that said that this horse looks incredible. He's not a big horse. He is not a big horse. This is more of a slight horse.
Neither was his daddy.
Yeah. So if he gets in a banging match with Commandment, you're gonna see him move because Commandment's going there. So, but I just think that he's gonna pull away there. He's gonna be mid-pack placed. He's not a leader. He's more of a stalker to mid-pack. There, he'll be back towards the back part of that stalking situation there. I'd see, so he doesn't have to pass them all. I don't think he has to come from an outside either, which is what I think. With like Renegade, you got to get out. He's got to get out.
Exactly right.
That's what he wants. So I see him coming, and I don't think it's going to be a concern with him. He's not gonna pass.
Regressing.
No,
Okay.
he's ready. This is his
Well,
race.
Travis, I got to tell you. First of all, I don't want to correct you, but I think I have to here.
Yeah.
Because you might have made a sheep mad. You don't want to do that.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Godolphin owns Sovereignty.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That is right.
just
That
saying,
is
I don't,
right. Was it?
about you and your family's safety.
Well,
And-
you're.
yeah.
That's a very good.
So beyond that,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm here for you.
Yes.
But so my top pick is in fact Commandment, and one of the main reasons last year went to church on Sunday. Pastor looks at me and says, "So who'd you have?" And I said, "I had Sandman, and I like journalism too." And she goes, "I like Sovereignty." I'm like, "Andy, why would you not pick Sovereignty? That's a religious name." And I'm like, "So this year, I'm all about Commandment."
Which commandment is this?
Well, let's not get into that.
How many have you broken?
Oh, I like that.
Only 2 today. Okay?
Only two
Only
today,
two
but it is
today.
early.
It is early.
We are early. So.
Yeah, all right. I've had Commandment on my mind.
Our other things
Drink
might,
up.
our other things might contribute to
Okay,
some of that
right.
changing. So
I've liked Commandment since November. He's an into mischief out of Orb, like you said. I've watched every one of his races, and honestly, Travis, I didn't think he won the Florida Derby, but let's give the horse credit. He knows where the wire is, and he runs to it. He's trained by Brad Cox. Brad Cox won the Florida Derby last year with Tappan Street. He got injured, wasn't able to run him in the Derby. It was his best horse. Luis Saez was on Maximum Security in 19, got bounced. I think the Derby gods are with Commandment for a lot of reasons, okay? He's my pick.
nice.
And so I'm Commandment and Commandment, the Puma, Further Ado. Big trifecta. Yes, and just demonstrating here, the Kentucky Derby is in fact presented by Woodford Reserve, and we want to give them credit. And the turf prior to it is sponsored by Old Forester, so we want to do that. I want to thank all of you for listening. I want to thank you too for your participation. Travis for all your work ahead to produce this thing and put it out there on the YouTube. And thanks to the many of you for watching. We say good luck. Thank you for the Kellys for hosting us here in Carmel, Indiana. Good luck on Derby 152. Thanks for watching.